Now, you may have known this. I didn't know Larry Elder was actually running for president. So he didn't qualify for the debate.
Yeah,
he put this video out.
That.
Let's listen.
I'm at LAX in Richmond, Milwaukee. I was just informed by the RNC that I'm not qualified for the debate. Why? Even though I exceeded the 40,000 individual donations required, even though I signed the pledge to support the eventual nominee, even though I submitted 3 polls where I was at least at 1%, I was informed that one of the polls is not eligible. It's the Rasmussen poll, even though it was the most accurate poll in predicting that Donald Trump would win in 2016. They say it is affiliated with Donald Trump and therefore it is not eligible. And I said to Ronna McDaniel, the chairwoman of the RNC, it's not affiliated with me. She said any poll affiliated with any candidate is not eligible. And no one told me that until just now. So we're filing an emergency to get me up there. Absolutely BS. One of the candidates, by the way, offered a $20 gift certificate for a $1 donation. That apparently is okay. Another one offered a free, air quotes, country western concert for a $1 donation. That apparently is okay. Another one offered a commission to
We can stop it here because
I don't know if we want to. Can I just add in 2 things? First of all,
go
this
ahead.
right here is the world's smallest violin being played for him because he's not on the debate stage. And then number 2, I think pretty sure Tulsi Gabbard would say to him, "What, first time you didn't make it on the debate stage? Yeah, big effing whoop. You met qualifications, but they still didn't bring you on. Too bad. I'm crying for you."
You still have a responsibility to fix this crisis as we see it.
Absolutely. The decline in education is one of the major reasons why our country is in decline. We need education in this country, not indoctrination in this country. And in Florida, we stood up for what was right. First, we had schools open during COVID, and a lot of the problems that we've seen.
Are they talking about giving it money, though?
States lock their kids out of school for a year and a half. That was wrong. We stood up. I took a lot of fire for that. I was pilloried by the media, but I stood for our kids. And as president, I'll stand for you and your kids as well. But we have to make sure that what our schools are doing is focusing on solid academics. In Florida, we eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools. We eliminated gender.
I didn't know it was
from K through 12
That's
schools.
indoctrination.
And we have elevated the importance of American civics and teaching our kids about the Constitution
That's cracking down
and the Bill
on
of
free
Rights.
speech.
As president, I'm going to lead an effort to increase civic understanding and knowledge of our Constitution.
They're
cannot be
saying
graduating
indoctrination,
students that don't have
propaganda.
any foundation in what it means to be an American.
Mr. Ramaswamy, hold on, Senator Scott. You've said that the Department of Education, the FBI, the ATF, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the IRS, the Department of Commerce, many of these should not exist.
That's correct.
So to the education question, how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement.
What about the
shut down the
CIA?
head of the snake, the Department of Education.
The
Take
DHS.
that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. End the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete. And then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that, frankly, every immigrant, including my mother, had to
indoctrination
pass
test
in order to become
the
a
same
citizen of
American
this
history
country.
propaganda
And the
test.
fact of the matter is, look, there's a part of education policy that also rests with the family. I didn't grow up in money, but you know the word privilege gets used a lot. Well, you know what? I did have the ultimate privilege of 2 parents in the house with a focus on educational achievement. And I want every kid to enjoy that. So part of the problem is we also have a federal government that pays single women more not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house, contributing to an epidemic of fatherlessness. And I think that goes hand in glove with the education crisis as well, because we have to remember education
How do
starts
you have
with the
an
family,
education
and the nuclear
crisis and
family is the
nobody's
greatest form of
talking about
governance
funding?
known to mankind.
We have a police crisis, but we talk about funding. We have a crisis of terrorism. We talk about funding.
Haley has said
But
that
education,
biological
we don't
boys
talk about
playing in
funding,
girls'
but you talk
sports
about
is
it
the
as a
women's
problem.
issue of our time. You said that even though you signed a ban on this in North Dakota, that there hadn't been one instance where it was actually
transgender
needed.
thing.
Are you saying that you think that too much is made of this issue?
Thing.
Are
Now.
you saying that you think that too much is made of this issue?
No, I'm saying in North Dakota, we made a priority of protecting women's sports, and we've done that
So what?
in our
15,
state.
20 minutes.
But I would absolutely do that. But I do think when
Yeah,
we
and
start
50
talking about education,
and 10
we
minutes
think
on
that we're gonna have a
education,
federal
5 minutes
government, one
probably.
size fits all, we're just completely losing track of the fact that education differs by state. Some school districts are doing a fantastic job, some less so. But the idea that every school district, state, and every teacher is somehow indoctrinating people is just false. You know, when I was building a company from scratch, you know, with small town kids, and we went, you know, grew up in a town of 300, but
They
we
love
built
to
a
use these
global
words.
company
Building
in
from scratch,
132
small
countries
time,
with
when
over
I was young,
100,000
when I was
customers.
little.
We listened to those customers. We spent time with them. We talked to them. We did that. And as governor, well, education is one of the biggest part of a state budget. So as a governor, I shadow a student. I don't, the night before I find out the student finds out, I'm going to go to every class with them. I don't sit and lecture school districts how to do it. I go and see the experience. And there's a lot of things that have to change, but what needs to change in education
it always seems like he has more time to talk. It seems like he talks longer than everybody else.
Innovation, not
he's
regulation.
using his tall man
I would give it to the
energy.
Department of Education. I would give block grants to schools, but I'd give them on merit based on who's doing the most innovative. I just got done holding the 7th annual Governor's Conference on Innovation Education. You should see what the people are doing when you cut loose the red tape, get the burden off their back. They care. Teachers in this country, the vast majority of them care about those kids. They're working in low-paying jobs, and they're fighting for those kids and their families.
Governor Hale, you said that this is the women's issue of our time.
First, I'll tell you, as you know, as a parent, the one thing you want is for your child to have a better life than you did. And we can talk about all of these things. And there's a lot of crazy woke things happening in schools, but we've got to get these kids reading. If a child can't read by 3rd grade, they're 4 times less likely to graduate high school. So we need to make sure we bring in reading remediation all over this country. We need transparency in the classroom because parents should never have to wonder what's being said or taught to their children.
If they graduate high school, will they get a good paying job?
Parents need to be deciding which schools their kids go to because they know best. And let's put vocational classes back into the high schools. Let's teach our kids to build things again. When we do that and we allow that innovation, that's when it'll get back. And yes, I will always say I'm going to fight for girls all day long because strong girls become strong women become strong leaders, and biological boys don't belong in the locker rooms of any of our girls.